Well, hi, everyone. Syleste Rodriguez here with The Balancing Act. And we just thank you for joining us. We love to bring you good conversations, great stories, and sometimes maybe some tips and tricks to make your life just a little bit more balanced in this very unbalanced life. So on this very day, we are chatting with Angeles Klein. Angeles, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you, too.
Yeah, nice to see you. You have such a great story, and you kind of you have a job.
Mm-hmm, I do.
You're a single mom, and you help run, or at least and single-handedly, I guess, one organization, and another one you're kind of heading up here in Arizona as well. Take us through your journey, and tell us, where are you from originally?
I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, here. And, so do you want me to start from like the single mom's journey?
Yeah, talk to us about like kind of how that whole thing has really led you down this path.
So I have been a single mother since 2017 when we officially separated. Previous to that, I was married for 7 years. And, it's a very big transition to go from your persona is that you're a wife, you're a mother, and, and I'm a professional. And my life was completely changing before my eyes. And it was a very hard transition to go through. I had my family there to support through everything, but all of them are still married. My parents have been married since 1965, which, they're like my role models. So here I am going through a divorce, and I just felt almost kind of like a failure. And it's a very hard transition for women to go through. Any insecurities that you may have had, they're, coming to surface. You're finding yourself thinking that you're feeling judged because you do have this failed marriage. Through that journey, through those years, I had started to find who I was as a person previous to who I was before I became a mother and even a wife. That journey was actually something that led me to this path to where I started this community. And I had seen other groups where there were mother communities, and a lot of them focused on, women that were married, and I had never seen one for single mothers. And I thought, okay, I cannot be alone with how I'm feeling right now. There's got to be others that are feeling the same, because even 5 years into my divorce, I was still feeling kind of a little bit alone and, in this space that others didn't really understand how I was feeling.
And what did you find when you started reaching out and saying, hey, I'm in this situation, and come join my community?
Yeah. So I started it on Meetup. I set up an event, and I am not the type of person to go outside of my comfort zone. I do not put myself in situations where there's a big group and people I don't know. I usually stay, pretty within my circle. And I had 10 single moms show up for the very first event, and it was like we had known each other for years. And I think there's so much to be said about that shared experience that we have. And it's just a safe feeling, meeting somebody that's gone through something very similar, or just living the similar life that you're living. And it's just this instant, like, sisterhood almost. It's a bond, and there's no judgment because we all have our own stories.
I think it's so important that you brought this community together, because as a daughter of a single mother, I watched my mom go through a lot, You have 2 daughters.
I do.
How old are they?
They're 13 and 10.
13 and 10. So they're at those pivotal ages, And so to help them understand, too, that you can be a female and strong and a mom and figure out how to do life together. That community, how has it helped you over the last few years?
Oh gosh, it's been such an incredible experience. I mean, I've found myself, for one, I'm going outside of my comfort zone every time I set up an event and I meet new single moms. But then I just see how empowering it is as us, like all of us as a community together, because we lift each other up. We're here to help support, help guide. It's just these friendships that we're building. It's developing this other experience that, I wouldn't have had otherwise. And, I actually just had a tough conversation with my youngest daughter because her 2 friends, they're going out of town together. And, I know part of that's we don't have the full family unit, which is really tough. But at the same time, I can bring the other experiences where we travel with the single moms and their children.
Yeah.
And then we have such a great experience the whole weekend with all of our kids and all of us together. So it's changed my life in ways of how I look from the outside in to see, I'm actually very grateful for everything that I have in my life. And that's really been a huge blessing these last couple of years.
I think there you touched on something. And you always hear people talk about having like a journal where you can be grateful for things, right? 5 things every night or every morning that you're grateful for as you get started on your day. And then as soon as you do that, you start to realize that there's so much more substance in our lives than we can see. Like once you pull the veil back, you're able to see so much more. Take us through kind of like a typical day for you with your girls, because you have a challenge with balancing it all because you're a single mom.
So I usually, it's an early morning start, and if the girls have school, I have 2 of them that are in different schools. So I have to navigate getting one to school and then getting the other to school, and getting myself ready for work. So I do go into the office 3 days a week, but I also get to work from home a couple days a week. And it's pretty flexible as far as the work from home, which is really nice. But I'll take you through the day when I have to go to the office. So I have to wake up early in the morning, take my shower previous to getting my other one that's getting ready for school. And Antonella, she's 13.
Pretty name.
Thank you. So I make her lunch, and then she gets herself ready. She's very, I will say that's one thing about our children. I think that they are very responsible children. So she wakes herself up in the morning, she gets herself ready, she'll grab something for breakfast, and then I come and I make her lunch, and then we hop in the car, I drive her to school, and then I come back, finish getting ready, and then I help my 10-year-old get ready, and she's, I pack her lunch and her snack, and then she takes the bus or I drive her to school, and then I head into work. So I work 40 hours a week and work the normal day while I'm there. Normally the night before I try to pack a lunch so that I can eat something there instead of having to, buy something at work every day. And then when I'm finished with work, I come home and I actually finish part of my day at home, and then we get ready for either if they have extracurricular activities or I get dinner ready. And then it's, our bedtime routine, and then we start the next day.
You make it sound so simple. Whereas, I would love to take a glance at your calendar because you make it sound very simple. I think there's moments I think of too of stress and anxiety some days, and how am I going to do it all? How am I going to get everything done? Sleeping in my car, changing in my car, grabbing food on the go, all the things that I think that we deal with as parents and families trying to juggle it all. And do you have these strong conversations with your girls? I feel like in my personal experience, my mom would have these tough conversations with us, and we kind of grew up fast because of that.
Yeah. And that is something I notice, especially with my oldest. I feel like because she's very responsible, I feel like sometimes I have to remind her I'm the parent. But we have our challenges pretty often. It's, just like any other family. My youngest, she could have a tough day during the morning, and, something might not go the way that she wants, and then it's having to stop everything, make sure she's okay, talk to her about what she's feeling and understanding why she's feeling the way she's feeling. And sometimes it's just things don't go the way that you plan. You spill coffee all over yourself, and, so it's navigating through those challenges, but I also always remember to take it day by day. I do have a full calendar, and I try not to stress myself out, thinking too much about, okay, here's everything I have during this week. I just plan for what I have that day, and then I attack that day, conquer it, and then the next day start over again.
So take us through, you have this really solid, amazing group of women who you all kind of work together and help each other out. Do sometimes you have to lean on each other? Like, hey, I'll grab your child here, or I can run them here, or I'll do this for you if I need to.
Oh, definitely. So we have a group chat. There's about 90 of us in there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
90
it's
moms?
amazing. Yep.
Are there any like misnomers, things that people think about single parenthood and maybe they shouldn't? I mean, we know it's challenging.
Yeah. I think, I can speak from my experience previously about being a single mom. Well, actually, no, I think that some people think that it's not as hard as it looks, for one, because it is a lot and we just absorb it. And I feel like sometimes we make it look easier than it really is. But there's always that struggle of not having that family unit that your kids see that wish that they had. And I think that that's something that, people might not realize, that we're going through all of these emotions and these feelings with everything that we're doing every day. And then, I think also previously, like I had mentioned, going through this transition of becoming a single mom, I was almost kind of ashamed. It was a very, it was a big struggle, and I had worn my wedding ring when I'd go grocery shopping, just so that I wouldn't think that people thought I was this mom that wasn't in a relationship with 2 kids. And even at work sometimes, just because I didn't want to have the conversation about what had just transpired. But now I feel like it's something that it's a badge I wear proudly, and I want to transition that whole concept about single mothers, because they are the unsung heroes, and we do work so hard to get everything accomplished, and we're such role models to our children's. And I think too, another thing that a lot of people think is that they get more support than they do. And a lot of single moms, probably I would say 90% of the ones that I've met, they're doing it all on their own.
You touched on something too, that you wear it as a badge of honor, which I think is, it's really inspiring.
And it is something that I wear proudly. And, and I think that getting into this experience and meeting these other women that, they inspire me every day. They're empowering in their own way too. And I think that's what's so important about this community, is that we can empower one another. And I've seen firsthand where they've joined the community. They're very timid. It's very emotional. Sometimes there's bitterness too, and it gets to the point where now I've seen 2.5 years later, they're just flourishing. They're dating again, they're just loving life. And of course there's going to be struggles here and there,
right?
But I think knowing you have a community by your side is just so important.
Well, we are going to talk a little bit about the 2 organizations that you had that really help single mothers here in Arizona. And one of them is a nationwide organization as well. Let's share about the first one, the one that you started.
Okay, so that would be Better Together. And that's the one I was referencing when I was talking about the community. Better Together's a community that we offer for single moms, and it's a way for them to find connection with one another and develop friendships, share their shared experiences, meet one another, and just learn that they're not alone, that there's so many of us here that are going through the same journey and may already be a little further in our journey, but we're here to support and empower and just inspire one another.
I think you touched on something, empower one another. And is this the one that started with the meetup?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah. And how fast did you see it really evolve?
Oh gosh.
And grow?
So I started it back in February of 2023. We're 2.5 years into the organization, and it actually has grown well beyond my expectations of what I had initially thought that it would be. Total, we have 800 members between here and Denver. And some of them, they come to the events, and then once I've met the single mom, I invite them into our group chat so that we can stay connected with one another. And it's just seeing these friendships develop outside of our events has just been like, it just fills my heart. Because
I think with so many women as a part of it, you think, wow, I never knew there were that many single moms or single women out there, raising children. But on the other side of it, there is a sense of community, and that we all need it's like that old saying, we need a village, right? And it helps us. And why Denver? Why in Colorado?
It was kind of just it was a random spot, but a friend of mine actually that I met through the group, her and I have become very close actually. And we were traveling for a concert to go out there. That's one of the things I found I loved during my journey is music.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite artist, or like who do you like to see live?
Lumineers.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a great group.
And then camp. So I love all of that type of music.
Yeah.
I just love live music. And so we were going to Red Rocks it was actually.
I've never been, but I hear it's beautiful.
Oh, it's amazing. It's breathtaking.
Yeah.
And, the Uber driver was actually talking to us, asking why we were there and how, what brought us here. And then even I think we got to the point of how we met, and we said through our community, and she turned out to be a single mom. And she had said, I wish I had something like that out here. And I thought, okay, well, maybe this is meant to be. And so I ended up taking a leap. I did an event there in Denver, flew out, and I met, I think it was about 7 to 8 single moms, and there are 2 of them that lead all of the events there in Denver.
Oh my goodness, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Stronger together.
Better together.
Oh, better together.
Yep.
That's what it is. Better
Yeah.
together. I think it's amazing. It's amazing. Are some of those women on that 90 women chat?
Yes, actually, one of them is, but they also have their separate chat that they have going, so that they can, build that friendship and connection with one another.
And then we met when we were chatting about the Sparkle Foundation.
Yeah.
What is that about?
So the Sparkle Foundation, it's a nonprofit. We serve single moms. Our mission is to ensure that every single mom and their children have a sparkle in their eye. We have 3 main initiatives, with our biggest being our holiday gift drive. And that's where we take care of the nominated and selected single mother and her children. We provide everything for the holidays. We get their wish lists, we do the shopping, and then we have everything wrapped, and then we deliver it to them. And then we've also got our enrichment scholarships, which we take care of the extracurricular activities of the children.
Wow.
So I've seen where we've actually funded a full year for the children.
Where do you get your funding?
We do fundraising. So I have a big fundraiser coming up November 16th, and this will be our first annual fundraiser here in Phoenix, which I'm very excited about. We're sold out, which is amazing. So that's, it's from donations and those just wanting to help others that, they feel our mission, and they know that single moms are unsung heroes, and that they need this extra support as well.
One of the moms that I met when I met you, she has 4 children, and she was a recipient last year, and she was just sharing how much it was like just a weight off her shoulders, that she didn't have to figure out how to provide something, that it allows mom, I think, to enjoy the holidays as much as everybody else.
It really lifts that burden. It really does. And there was another mom from my group who had been nominated, and she ended up being selected. She had stage 2 breast cancer. Oh, wow. And so I had no idea what she was going through during the holidays. I knew earlier on, but we had, we did the same thing. We did all the shopping and all the gifts, and she had actually sent us a video that she had a conversation with her son that they weren't going to have much of a Christmas that year. And, it makes me kind of get emotional a little bit, because here Sparkle comes and we took care of everything. And I think it was just such a blessing to her too. So it's just hearing these stories, it really fuels what we do. And it's just like creates this, this passion for us that volunteer, because we're all volunteers.
I think it's remarkable too when you look back, right? Like you mentioned, you were ashamed when you became a single mom, and you'd wear your ring to the grocery store because you weren't sure what other people were going to think. And then fast forward all these years later, and you're thinking, wow, there was really something that was birthed in the process.
There really was. I think it's something where I feel a lot of when you're married, and, at least for me, this is my experience. It's almost like you have this sense of feeling that you have to control the narrative of who you are, how people perceive you, what they think about you, your marriage, etc. And when something happens that's beyond your control, you have this almost feeling of just kind of relief in a way, because you're letting go of having that feeling of having to control, because now the narrative is shifted and it's beyond your control. And it's either I felt like I had that moment where I could let this consume me, or I was going to take that stand and it be something that, I can make a difference and show that I can still do this as a single mom, and it's not going to change who I am, at least not for the worse. I wanted to make it for the better.
What do your daughters, what do they share with you about this whole experience and this journey with you? We were just chatting a moment ago, and you had asked your daughter about your outfit.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're like, Mom, why are you leaving the house in that? Or they're, Mom, never wear those pants
Yeah.
again. But she said something to you. I thought, when she was mentioning your outfit, and I thought, that is such a typical kid thing to say.
Yeah. She loved the outfit. She was like, the shoes, not so much, Mom.
But I'm sure there's a different bond that you have with your kids too, as a single parent.
You do, because when you're married, it's your husband comes first. And with now my life has become that it's my children that come first, actually. They're my priority in life, and they always will be my priority, because now, I'm a single mother, and I know that they're looking up to me, and I can't let them down. So it's definitely, it's a different experience, and it shifts, because you have a different responsibility because you're doing it on your own.
I think there's also a moment of maybe, I always think of like there's a caterpillar, and then there's the cocoon, and then the butterfly, and the whole thing. There's a transformation that takes place, and after all these years, there's like a transformation that has taken place with you in your life and your daughters. And
yeah, I think so. I think that at the beginning, it was a very emotional part, and my mom was such a rock for me too, because she's such a strong woman, and I have a lot to thank to her, because I don't know that I'd be in the position that I'm in if I didn't have her as an influence, because she really taught us to be, self-sufficient, to be able to take care of myself and to not have to rely, on others financially, and really develop my career and go to school. And I want to be that same person for my girls, because I want them to have that same, stability that I have, and that, growing up having that same role model to them. So yeah. And
I think there is something to being, having strong women in our lives, whether or not it's our mother, our aunts, our grandmothers, the women who helped raise us, and they raise us to be stronger. And sometimes we don't know how strong we are until we're going through the fire.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I remember the days of thinking I wasn't going to get off the couch, but you have to just put one foot in front of the other, and you just have to keep going. You just have to keep going, and, time heals everything. And then, and then you find yourself 8 years later, and I've got these 2 organizations, and I've really used my experience to help others.
Do you blink and go, my goodness, like they have these organizations, and I have like a job, and I have 2 girls, and I'm waking up and I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And it makes life maybe a little worth living.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I am having my cup filled with this community, and with, with Better Together, with Sparkle, being a mother, being a professional at work. It keeps motivating me every day. And I love mentoring. That's another passion of mine besides building a community. So being able to mentor others, I think, that really spills into my job.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it.
How do we find more information out about Sparkle and your other organization, and how we can really take part in that?
So I've got 2 websites. So for the Better Together, it's www.singlemomsrise.com. And then for Sparkle, it's www.sparklenow.org.
Are you also taking financial donations, or how do people get involved in some of those fundraising efforts?
Yes, definitely. We're always looking for the donations to help fund all of our initiatives. So on the website for Sparkle, there's an option there to donate. And then we're definitely going to be looking for volunteers because our holiday gift drive will have our big event where we do all the gift wrapping.
Oh,
so
fun.
This year, I think it's going to be at Fresh Start. We're partnering.
Okay.
So
No bags. Everybody needs to know how to wrap a gift.
yeah, yes, exactly.
Do you have an Instagram handle for both of those organizations?
Yes. So we've got the Instagram for Better Together is at bettertogether_we rise. And then the Sparkle, it might be easier to find the main one, which is at Sparkle Foundation. Otherwise, there's a Phoenix one too that branches from that.
Okay. Angeles, thank you
Yeah,
so much for
thank
your time.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
great story. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.